When summer rolls around, most people assume it's time to relax and take some time off. But in one South Carolina town, it's when a very determined black woman is working her hardest to change the future of her community. Keisha Hayes has more on the Freedom Academy.
Oh, the dreaded summer school. If you're a child, it's probably not where you would expect to find freedom between early June and mid-August. But for these children, it may be the route to academic success rather than failure.
He said, you all gonna send this little scrawny child to fight me, the champion?
This is Freedom Academy in Batesburg, Leesville, South Carolina. It's a place that's not much more than a wide spot on the road between Aiken and Columbia. So who cares?
When they finish the dictionary, you need to start looking up some adjectives in there.
Juanita Davis and some local parents care because their school system of only 2,400 students faced a crisis.
When we found out that the school system was not going to be able to do a summer program, I started thinking about the Freedom School that I had seen in North Carolina. And gradually I started looking at that, but also trying to tailor it to meet what we need here. And so it became Freedom Academy because it added remediation, it added math, and there was all these other components that just wasn't a part of Freedom School. So, you know, I started talking to family and friends about the possibility of doing it.
While talk is cheap, running a summer school program without taxpayer support isn't. So Davis, a former grants writer, called on some friends for donations, held rummage sales in her front yard, begged, borrowed, and even pleaded with the community to make it work. The idea eventually took hold with some parents, but not everyone shared her vision.
It makes the black people realize that the white folks can, black folks can do it too. Not only white folks can start a school or be successful in anything like that, but black folks can do it too. You know, that's the problem. Us black folks don't want to venture out, and we don't want to take the risk to do something.
When local black churches were unable to help, Davis turned to the school system.
Our community, which is very supportive of our schools during good times and bad times, realized that this was not a good time for our community, for our school district as well as our state, and they were pretty much willing to step up to the plate. So it was a grassroots effort. These are our children. I think that's what our community said. Why can't we do something? You know, we've depended upon the school all these summers to do this, and times are tough now. Why can't we do something?
And all of a sudden, you know, they were offering space, free space, and use of an activity bus at a nominal rate per mile, and it just gradually began to take shape. Then I had to, speed things up and find volunteers and get someone to drive the bus, and went on a lot of verbal promises to do things, and when June 3rd rolled around, we opened.
Opened with adult volunteers and a few paid junior counselors who were home from college for the summer. It was a decision made with the future in mind.
I think that when people are connected to their community, once they get their degree, they're more likely to come back home. And for the most part, that doesn't happen a lot here.
For the most part, these counselors would have never considered this kind of work until they discovered the rewards.
I feel like I'm rewarded day after day, making another kid smile. That's it. Just making someone else smile and keeping most of them off the street.
Alvin Staley was set on a career path as a pre-law major at the University of South Carolina when this opportunity came along. At Freedom Academy, Staley found himself working with some children who had failed the state's mandated achievement test. Motivated by incremental progress, he saw change for the better.
I'd rather for them to read words that's at least 7, 8 letters now and understand it and sound it out and figure out exactly how it is. When they get to those 12, 13 letter words, they'll be able to pick it up like that instead of just sounding it out. They'll be able to know exactly what this word is saying to them.
By day, Freedom Academy focused on remedial needs of the children, but one evening a week, the roles reversed as adults again became students in free parenting classes. Participation in at least half of the skills sessions was mandatory to keep a child enrolled in the enrichment program. Local educators hope the skills taught for both groups will have some long-term impact.
So they're gonna grow. I think they're gonna mature. They're going to probably even be better citizens and maybe better parents themselves when they get to that point in their lives.
In this place, many hailed Juanita Davis for her perseverance and her vision. But as the fundraiser, curriculum director, chief cook, and bottle washer for Freedom Academy, she downplays the accolades.
I'm just an everyday person who decided that I wanted to make a difference.
Jacksonville, Florida, September 28, 2002, the beginning for a modern classic. Two historically black colleges, Shaw University from Raleigh, North Carolina, and Edward Waters College from Jacksonville, Florida, meet in the first annual Willie E. Gary Classic.
Come on, program. Read all about it.
It's a matchup between two schools that had once given up on football.
Excitement this weekend, big weekend.
I'm happy. I mean, too many black schools don't get this opportunity to be at a big stadium like Outset. I'm happy. I'm excited for them.
I'm excited. I'm crunk about the game. I'm, really happy. I want to be there.
Getting to this day was more than a notion for MB Chairman Willie Gary.
When I donated the money to Shaw University to start their program and to Edward Waters, the idea came up that maybe we should have a classic to honor Willie for what he's done for both schools. And they thought of the classic. And then my mind started turning. I said, well, why not use this as a way to raise money for scholarships for both of these historically black schools?
The city of Jacksonville is hyped at the possibilities of what an annual football classic can mean to the city.
Certainly it's a pride factor. Again, when you get someone like Mr. Gary, who's known throughout the world, to put his name to something and bring it to Jacksonville, that certainly is something that the city can be proud of, that he chose this place to have the game when he could have gone anywhere.
This is the first time that both schools are getting a chance to appear in a nationally televised football game.
With Willie Gary and everything, with the NBC network, that allows us to recruit in other areas that people never even heard of Edward Waters College. I mean, people in Detroit, wherever the NBC is being broadcasted at, now we can go in and they can say, hey, we saw you on TV against Shaw.
The exposure, it allows us from a recruiting standpoint to show kids that, even though we are a new program, that we are one of the up-and-coming football programs, in the historically black college and university circuit, as well as, across the country.
Watch me! I got it! Watch me! I got it! Hey!
It's also a rare chance for the players to be seen by their families, exposure they can only get because of NBC's commitment to historically black colleges.
I always told my mother in high school I was going to play on TV. I was thinking the league, but I'll take this step.
It's really exciting to me. I get a chance to really show what I can do and show what type of football Shaw University play.
We are going to give them the exposure that they need. And I still say the only reason why they left the historically black colleges was because of the lack of exposure.
Whether it is information technology and computer management, cosmetology, culinary science, early childhood education, aviation, or allied health sciences, filling the need for well-trained workers is the mission of Atlanta Technical College.
I don't have to be like any other schools in this area. My niche is technical education, and my goal is to be the very best that we can be in technical education.
Since its founding in 1945, the institution has grown from a trade school to one of the top technical schools in Georgia, with an enrollment of more than 2,800 full-time students.
Today we are the 5th largest technical institute, and I might add the 5th largest technical institute, but we do not have a satellite center or satellite campuses.
A unit of the Georgia Department of Post-Secondary Education, Atlanta Technical College is located on a 45-acre campus with easy access to downtown and served by public transportation. It is at the forefront of training people for today's job market.
The food industry is booming. Right now, we just don't have enough people in the culinary arts or food service to supply the demand.
I get, on the average, about 5 calls a week, and that may be a little underestimated, looking for trained people. That's because the need right now is for trained child care workers or people who have certification in early childhood education.
The students are a cross-section of the community, ranging from those just out of high school to others seeking a career in emerging technologies. Graduates can earn an associate degree of applied science in many disciplines, including newly added degree programs in early childhood education and computer information technology. Atlanta Technical College is also providing opportunities for advanced information technology, training through its recently certified Cisco System Academy.
Right now, all the companies need people to man these computers, and I think computer is also an advancing technology, which everybody is embracing.
In the next few years, degrees will be offered in dental hygiene, medical lab technology, and paralegal studies. In every course of study, there is a basic educational philosophy of skills, competence, and confidence that defines the Atlanta Tech experience.
The skills are knowing what to do for children. The competence is how you do those things, when to do those things, and then the confidence is knowing that we can do them.
Atlanta Technical College is also a leading career development option for people making the transition to the private sector. The new Connections to Work program has successfully placed 80% of its clients into meaningful jobs.
The changes I've made from the last 2 months is that I learned to think positive for myself and to learn that I need to start doing things for myself. And when I came to the class, I was like, this is not the class I want to be in and stuff. And I was like, I had the attitude I wasn't going to do it and stuff. But when I met Ms. Hayes and Ms. Clemens also, she was like, girl, go on to class, you can do it.
I have a student this quarter who had a job that's in her neighborhood. She said, I am so excited I can take my girls to school, go back home and prepare lunch for my family, start my dinner, and then go back to work on my lunch break.
Recognizing that the workforce is rapidly changing, the college also addresses the educational needs of students for whom English is not their primary language. Along with job-specific training, students also learn work ethics, which employers demand.
One of the #1 things that they say to us is that they want employees not only who are occupationally trained, but who can get to work on time, who are team players, who understand respect in the workplace, who have good character.
And from there,
in the meantime, educational opportunities are not limited to the campus. Each year, a select group of students participates in an international exchange program with an institution in Detmold, Germany. That program will also expand to include opportunities for study in London. That exchange also includes visiting faculty members whose expertise provides a wider view of the world. No matter where they are from, the faculty extends its commitment beyond the formal course of study.
One thing that we try to stress in our students is that we want them to develop a desire for lifelong learning.
As Atlanta continues to grow, the college is preparing itself to be ready. Plans are already in place to construct a new multi-purpose complex to meet future needs.
The new building itself would allow for additional classroom space in this current facility. It would afford us an opportunity to provide conference room or conference space for the business community at no charge.
The school also hopes to build a $17 million allied health center and technology complex to handle the growing demand in those fields. Plans are also in the works for a major renovation to existing classrooms and equipment upgrades. Working with a multitude of public and private sector partners, Atlanta Technical College remains committed to providing a top-flight education for those willing to pursue excellence.
Each student is a part of me. I'm investing that part in the student, you know. If it means coming in early, staying late, it's an investment in that student because that student represents me. He represents this institution.
Atlanta Technical College, where progress is our priority.